Okay, so in this video I'm going to teach you how to find the values of the y-intercepts exactly using our calculator. If you notice that both my calculator and the function that the answer key graphed, both of the x-intercepts are somewhere between 0 and 1 and 5 and 6. Now this answer key says that it is exactly 0.35 and exactly 5.65. So how did they get numbers that were so close? How come they knew that it wasn't 0.5? What they do is they use the calculate menu. In the calculate menu, if you look where I'm pointing on the calculator, you get there, you press second and trace. Okay, and you want to make sure that you have this function typed into y equals. So since they match, I'm going to go to second, trace, that's the calculate menu. You go down, and since we're finding the zeros, that's what the x-intercepts are called, the zeros are the roots. You're going to go to number 2 and you press enter. Okay, so now it says left bound, and when you see this, you want to pretend we're going to just look at this zero. So ignore all of this graph that I'm showing right now. It's like it's not even there. Okay, and actually I'm going to zoom to where all we can see is this part of the graph. Okay, so all I can see is this zero. Okay, so I'm going to go to, you don't have to do that, but I'm going to go to calculate the zero, and I'm going to go to the left. Okay, that's what left bound means. So I press the left arrow until I am to the left of this zero. So I think we would all agree that now my blinking cursor is to the left. So I press enter. Now I go to the right. So I zoom over, or I don't zoom over, I just go to the right, and I think we'd all agree again that this blinking cursor is to the right of this zero. And I press enter. Now it says guess, so I'm going to go put my blinking cursor right where I think the zero happens. And I press enter. Now you see it's 0.35 and this is 0.35. So this zero is correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, they just rounded it. Now I'm going to zoom back out to my normal graph, and now I'm going to do the same thing with this zero. So I press second, calc, I find this zero because I have 2, so I go to the left. Now I have to be to the left, and imagine that we were zoomed in like we just were. Here's the zero. Hopefully we can all agree that this blinking cursor is to the left of this zero. So here's the zero, here's the blinking cursor, it is to the left, so I'm going to press enter. Now if I want to go to the right, I do the same thing. I put the blinking cursor to the right. Here's the zero. The blinking cursor's to the right. Even if it's just a little bit, you press enter. Now these 2 arrows are saying, okay, the zero is between these 2. So I go back and I guess, and I say, okay, well it's going to be about right there. And it's 5.645, so I'm going to round up to 0.65, which this explains how they got exactly those values on the x-intercepts. So you don't need to guess. If you have a graphing calculator, you just do this like I just showed you. And remember, it's always going to say left bound, right bound, and then guess. So if you're on the left, you want to be to the left. There we are. So to the right, you want to be to the right. There it is. And then you press enter. And you always want to make sure that while you're doing that, you just completely ignore the other part of the graph. So this one, it was like we just looked at, you know, from 4 to 7, you know, and so you just see this zero and it's to the left, to the right, and enter. But you can do it all on the normal screen. You just have to make sure that you just ignore this part of the graph when you're looking for that zero.